What is up, Daddy Gang? It is your founding father, Alex Cooper, with Call Her Daddy.
Kid Cudi, welcome to Call Her Daddy.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. I feel really good. It's been crazy the past couple months. I filmed this movie that is really fucking gnarly, and I just wrapped last week. And yeah, so now I'm like back into work mode on the album and the memoir.
I was about to say, I'm like, wait, now you're throwing another curveball. I'm like, you're so fucking busy. I was like, you've had the most insane summer. You're going to continue to have an insane summer. You got married.
Yes.
Congrats.
Thank you.
So we have a wedding.
Yeah.
We have an album. And we have a memoir.
Yeah.
Do you sleep? Like, what's going on?
I do find time to sleep.
Okay.
I do. People don't understand when I do, but I do.
Right. It happens at some point.
Yeah,
we'll
definitely.
never know.
Yeah.
What do people close to you call you? Like, are people calling you Cudi? Are people calling you Scott?
No, I introduce myself to people as Scott.
Does your wife call you Scott?
We have pet names. She never says Scott, actually.
Give me one pet name.
Yeah, it's always Babe or Booski or something like that.
Booski.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute. Okay, what should I call you today?
You can call me Scott.
Scott.
Yeah. You know, I feel weird introducing myself as Cudi.
Have you thought about, would you ever drop the kid?
I have thought about that.
Talk to me about it.
You know, I was thinking a couple weeks ago, I was talking to my good friend Jean-Baptiste, and I was like, man, you know, it would be so cool if I just like started a band, like, and just did like alternative, trippy, psychedelic shit, like real experimental, and just like it was just me and some other dudes in the band, and you know, I went by Cudi rather than Kid Cudi, you know.
What if you went full off the reservation and went Scott?
Yeah,
you just went Scott. You're like, what's up, everyone? It's Scott.
I don't know how cool Scott sounds, you know.
It's a little different than Cudi.
Yeah.
But like, you could make it have a ring to it. I agree it's a departure, but maybe one day you'll come out with a band.
Yeah. Or maybe I'll go by Scotty or something.
Because I feel like you have to have a little bit of differentiation between your home life and the people that know you and get to call you Scott.
Yes.
You have really good fashion. I feel like everyone kind of knows that. Talk to me about your fashion, like how it's kind of evolved.
Oh man, I feel like now, you know, because I say maybe last year in the from 2020 to 2024, I was just really big on like colors and, you know, dyeing my hair different colors and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure everybody saw that. I was dyeing my hair every 2 weeks in different colors, and now since I turned 40, I've been like trying to find a balance of just like real casual but like rock star.
I see this all in the
you know what I'm saying?
Right? Yeah.
And then like my shoes are all dirty and like, you know, not so polished, and I love buying vintage. I don't really go and buy new shit because I hate like wearing something and then seeing another motherfucker in it. And you know like with rappers, it's all about like who has it first. You know what I mean? So they do these fit pics on their IG, and it's like such a thing, you know? And like, I just, you know, I love, you know, buying vintage because you can kind of be unique. And also when you're shopping and you're buying vintage, like, it's like, you never know what's going to fit you, you know? And that's how I really get lucky with these leather jackets. Everywhere I go, it's like, I can find one that's like really good, you know?
Yeah.
And I have a secret spot in Paris that I get all my leather jackets from.
Wow, you're gatekeeping over here.
I'll tell you off the air.
Okay, fair.
I'll tell you off the air.
Come on.
Sure.
Thank you. Come on. Lola would approve. What is your biggest fashion mistake? Like, what did you use to wear that you're like, what the fuck was I doing?
I don't think I've had any fashion mistakes. I'm pretty, like, when I see old fit pics of me and stuff like that, I'm kind of like, oh, that was a good day.
You're proud.
Like, you know?
How do you feel about the fedoras? Would you ever bring it back?
I might.
Really?
I might. Because that's actually a good, that's a good idea. It might be nice to bring back the fedora.
You think though?
It could. I could pull it off. I could wear anything.
That's fair. Do you think your wife would like the fedora look?
I think she would be into it.
Okay.
Yeah, because she trusts me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like,
she
you're
knows
not
I'm
going to
always,
make it. Yeah.
She knows I'm always going to show up and like show out.
I agree with you. There's some people that can literally put anything on and they just like have the aura that they can pull it off. Some men in a fedora, Scott, it wouldn't attract the ladies. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? It wouldn't make them feel like, ooh, I want to get that. So I agree with you. Like maybe you can pull it off and maybe you'll bring it back.
Yeah, I would do it in a way where like even if I had a fedora on with this outfit, it could work. You know what I mean?
With the joint.
Yeah.
The Solomon.
I mean, because this was my look back in like 2008, 2009. Like I used to wear the fedora all the time. That was like my thing.
You're going to bring it back. Talk to me about, obviously the internet is absolutely obsessed with you and Timothée Chalamet's friendship. They're like obsessed with you guys being friends. It's actually very cute. What is his best quality as a friend to you?
You know, the best quality about Timmy is that he's super genuine. Timmy is always Timmy with me, not the Timothy that people know and they see in the movies. You know, like when he's with me, we'll be sitting sometimes and like he's such a fan that he'll like you remember this and start playing some shit that I released in like 2008. Like this is a freestyle you put out and I'll be like, damn, I haven't heard this in 15 years. And like he just supports me and, you know, acting and music. And he's just a good listener. And like, I remember one New Year's, like 2020, he came over my house and it was just me and him and we just rang in the new year together. You know, just like it was so dope. And like he's just a really good dude, you know, and I don't have a lot of like people in the business that I'm that close with. You know, it's just over the years I realized that okay, these are industry friendships and I have real friendships and Timmy is not an industry friendship. Like we are real friends. I've been to his childhood crib, like met his dad, you know, like hung out, like saw his old bedroom that he grew up in. You know what I mean? Like he still had everything in the same place.
So many women are like, I'm so fucking jealous of you right now, Scott. God damn it. Oh, that's really cute.
Yeah, but he was like, this is why I listen to Man on the Moon 1. And I sat at this desk and just listened day in, day out. And it was so cool to just kind of see, you know, his world. And but he's just a really good friend and he's always been there for me. And, you know, I like to send him records before I release them, right? And like I sent him this one. He was in Italy, so this is how cool of a friend he is. He came to Italy to visit me when I was shooting "We Are Who We Are" with Luca, right? And he stayed at the villa. I had an extra room, so he stayed with me at the villa, right? And like I played him like some songs from my album Intergalactic, like maybe like a year before it came out, and I played him "Willing to Trust." And he just started bawling. Like he was like, it made him so emotional, you know? And that, and you know, Timmy always likes my stuff, but there's a range in like his reaction. Like sometimes he'll be vibing and be like, oh, this is dope, this is dope. And then sometimes he'll just get the fuck up and just really be going crazy and like, oh shit, you know what I mean? So this was another one of those moments where I knew, and that song is probably the illest song from Intergalactic, you know?
Well, it's cool to hear you talking about industry relationships, and obviously publicly it could look like an industry friendship, and then hearing you say you have a personal relationship that's way beyond just like a industry relationship is cool, because I know, which I want to get to with your memoir, like through your childhood you had a lot of like lonely moments, and even hearing you say like you don't have that many friends in the industry, I usually think is a big positive sign when I meet someone, because I think if you're just like kind of whoring yourself out to everyone and you're like a man of the people, I feel like it's like, how is that genuine and how do you invest that much time in that many people?
Exactly.
Back up, why now and why did you want to write this?
Man, I feel like I just went through a transformation in my life. And I was at this place where it was like 8 years I had been kind of on the lighter side of life, and I had learned so much. And I know, the fans really want to know my story, and they know bits and pieces because I've done interviews throughout the years and talked about my past and things like that. But there's so much that is in the book that I'm sure no one knows about.
The book is incredible.
Thank you.
Super vulnerable. Like, I love how you go all the way back to childhood. You talk a lot about your rise to fame, and you talk about some of the absolute darkest moments of your life.
Yeah.
I want to get into a lot of it today.
Okay.
Let's go back to the beginning where your book starts. Talk to me about what you were like as a kid in general. Call Her Daddy is brought to you by T-Mobile. Have you ever met someone and they're the total package, right? Well, that's what it's like being with T-Mobile. You will not believe what you can get with Magenta Status, Daddy Gang. First off, it's amazing coverage, okay? You're connected wherever life takes you. At home, overseas, in the air, even off the grid. Plus, you get unbeatable value from day one. And that's not even the best part. You can get perks on travel, dining, concerts, streaming, and more. With T-Mobile, you're a member with Magenta Status from day one, Daddy Gang. So experience amazing value, next level connectivity, and access to exclusive benefits. With T-Mobile, you can have it all. No more settling. We do not settle, Daddy Gang. I love having T-Mobile because it means I have access to Wi-Fi on planes, which is without a doubt necessary right now. Even as I'm heading off to a random trip, I'm like, boom, tuning in, boom, thank you, T-Mobile. Plus, with Magenta Status, there are amazing restaurant perks. And when I'm in a new city, I always want to try and just get the best local cuisine. So experience Magenta Status at T-Mobile.com/benefits. Call Her Daddy is brought to you by White Claw. Daddy Gang, I hate to say it, but summer is coming to an end, sadly, and we only have a limited amount of time to really soak up these last few weekends. And you know what that means? No more sitting around and waiting for someone else to make the plans. We have to be the ones to get out there, okay? So bring the plan and bring a pack of White Claws along with you. I recently planned a barbecue with some of my friends, and my favorite White Claw variety pack is ready to go. The pack with peach, passion fruit, watermelon, and lemon. It's like a little summer flavor roulette, right? Every time you reach one, you put your hand in the box, you're like, ooh, what am I going to get now? Boom, I got a watermelon. I love them all, but I'm personally obsessed with the watermelon flavor. I can't stop drinking it. She's fresh, she's juicy, she's kind of carefree, which is the vibe that I'm going for all summer. I'm just so relaxed. Nothing can bother me. Nothing can faze me. My friends also loved sampling all of the flavors as we hung out and we were catching up. The variety packs truly have something for everyone. So take control of these last few weekends of summer, Daddy Gang. Don't wait for the invite, be the invite, and be the person that brings the White Claws with you. Pick up a pack of White Claw from your favorite local spot and grab Life by the Claw with your favorite flavor this summer. Please drink responsibly. Hard seltzer with flavors. White Claw Seltzer Works, Chicago, Illinois. Talk to me about what you were like as a kid in general.
Well, before my father died when I was 11, I was a really happy kid. Like we didn't have much, but my mom, was a great mom, and my dad was great. He was there for me. They divorced when I was 3, so I don't really remember like even living in the house with him, but he was still active in my life, and I saw him frequently. And I was a happy kid. I was goofy. I was the baby of the family, and it was like that for a while, but it wasn't until I was 11 when I lost my father where there became a change in me, and I feel like that pain that I endured when I was 11 stayed with me well into my early 30s,
When you talk about your relationship with your dad and that shift at 11, I thought it was interesting in the book how you talk about you as a child, you liked to spend time alone, right? Mm-hmm. And there was a shift pre his death and post his death of what that alone time felt and meant to you. Can you talk to me before your father passed about like, what did you like about hanging by yourself and being in your room? Like, what were you doing when you were alone?
I was just dreaming about what I would do in the future, whether it was, because for a while I wanted to be a cartoonist. So thinking about that, and even thinking about being an actor, that was an early dream of mine.
In the book, you write a lot about how like school kind of forced you to come to terms with the way that you were different than some kids. Can you talk about what you meant by that?
Man, I felt that like around when I turned 15 or 16 when I was in high school, it was kind of like I lost interest with school altogether. And I started to think, or kind of know, like I had this feeling that I was like, I don't need algebra. Like, I'm going to be a rapper one day. You know what I mean? Like, what am I doing here? You know what I mean? Just sitting in class, like, this is a waste of time. 16. You know what I mean? And I always felt like I would watch other kids and see them focus on the test and see them studying. And I'll just be like, what am I doing here? You know? And like, I just, and also I was very, like, I was the class clown. Like I was goofy as fuck. And that's kind of how I, camouflage some of the hurt and pain that I had inside me, was to kind of be silly, in some way.
It's interesting because a lot of times on the show, I ask people like, what is your earliest core memory that you can think of in childhood? And you obviously mentioned it and you wrote about it in your memoir of this.
I've always known it vividly. Yeah.
Which is so crazy because you were 3, right?
Yeah.
So you're 3 years old, you're in this car and you remember like your parents are shouting and they're going to get a divorce.
Yeah.
3 is so young, but obviously something in your body like brings you back to that moment and you can remember it and those feelings. Like, can you talk a little bit about when you were writing that, like what that brought up for you and why you chose to put that in the book?
Man, I felt that it was perfect because it would set the tone for the book. Because maybe some people's first memory is like something pleasant. And this was not like, though in the moment I didn't know that they were getting a divorce, but I saw my mom and dad like yelling at each other for the first time in my mind that I can remember. And like, not understanding it, but being scared. And from there, it was like, I felt like it set the tone for what you were going to read. You know what I mean? And there was a lot of dysfunction in my family, you know what I mean? Between my brother's antics and when I lost my dad and just being angry, an angry kid, and my brother getting in trouble and stuff like that, me getting in trouble in school. And I kind of wanted to set the tone with that. And I felt like that the book had to start with my first memory. I thought it was important to just bring people in on that because some people can't even remember their first memory that young, 3 years old.
How do you think your parents' relationship kind of shaped your early ideas of love?
Well, the divorce didn't rock me because I saw my mom and dad still have respect for each other.
Which is rare.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Great.
Like there was a respect there, like I never saw, other than that first memory, I never really saw my dad and my mom get into it after the divorce. Like there was always a respect. Like if my dad didn't come and see us for 2 weeks, my mom would be calling him like, yo, get up off your fucking couch and come see these kids. And he'd be like, all right, I'm on my way. You know what I mean? Like, and he just had a respect for her. And it was, so I always looked for that in relationships. And I don't think I always had that. Like, some relationships I did and there were other problems we had. But that's like the core thing that I look for. It's like, man, like just seeing my mom take care of my dad when he was dying. Like, and my dad had 3 wives. My mom was the third. You know what I mean? So like nobody else came to take care of him. Nobody checked in. We paid for the funeral, and I just saw, I was like, man, that's what I want. Like, I want to ride or die. You know what I mean? Somebody that's going to take care of me, no matter what, So I always kept that in mind. And yeah, I just thought that was a real powerful thing to see as a kid.
Reading that was like nice to see for you, that you had that vision of like, oh, it can be amicable and it can just be family. You don't need to be in love and together, but at least we're all still riding for each other and showing up for each other.
Right.
After the divorce, you lived with your mom.
Yeah.
Your relationship with your mom sounds incredible and lovely. Can you talk about, though, growing up when you were young, what it was like?
Yeah. Man, me and my mom were very close. I was like her little partner in crime. Like when she went to go run errands, I was there. So you want to come with me to the grocery store? I'm like, yeah, sure. Like just hanging around. I was that kid. And then when people would come like, oh my God, how old are you? I would just hide behind her leg like, no.
Why can I like literally picture that?
Yeah, like I was super shy and my mom was like, tell me how old you are. And I'm like, 5.
You're like, Mom, who the fuck is that weirdo?
Who is this person? I never wanted to meet strangers. I was always like, who is this? But no, like we've always, and my mom lived in LA from 2023 to just this weekend she moved back to Cleveland. And it was so sad for me because, and I gave her a copy of the memoir and I signed it for her. And it was so sad for me. Like I cried. I haven't like cried like in that way about like that. I felt like I really cherished her being in LA. I spent years, like 15 years away from her living in Cleveland, me living in LA, only seeing her on holidays. And she was out here and I could just drive 30 minutes to see her. And that's something I always wanted, was my mom to live in LA with me, like, and kick it. And like, I just like, nah, like, it was brief because then I thought about it. It was coming from a place from like this place of saying like, I'm going to be alone now. Mm. But then I realized like, I'm married. Like I have a wife that's going to hold me down. You know what I mean? This is not like before, Scott, like 4 years ago when you were living on your own and like you had no one around. Like you have a partner. You know what I mean? So then I was like, oh, that's right. I'm not alone. What am I saying?
Why is she leaving?
She was here because she was dealing with some health issues and I got her the best doctors in LA, but her life is in Cleveland. She has all these friends there and she doesn't really know anybody out here. And it was good because, we needed to get her to some good doctors. You know what I mean? But we got it all set up in Cleveland now. And, she just wanted to be back home with her friends. And, she's trying to kick it.
Right. She's like, I got a life too, Scott.
She's like, I got friends. Like, I got a life, a whole life that I don't have anymore.
You're like, I'm your life, Mom. Come back.
I was literally keeping her hostage. Like, I was like, you're not going back. You're staying here with me. But what was crazy? When I was a kid, I used to come up to my mom when I was like 4 or 5 years old. And I'd say, Mom, when I get older, you're going to live with me and my wife. And she would be like, boy, you ain't gonna want me to live in the house with you. So right when she moved in, I was like, didn't I tell you you was gonna live with me one day? And she just laughed. I was like, I wasn't playing games. I was dead serious.
I kept my word.
Yeah.
She's like, shit, okay.
She's like, you did say that. I was like, I told you, it's not
now
a game.
She's now the one that's like, I'm leaving, actually.
Yeah.
It's not what it's cracked up to be.
Yeah.
I'm getting the fuck out of here. Okay, let's circle back to your father. We're going to talk, obviously, about the moment with his death and how it impacts you. I know we've kind of touched it, but before we get there, I do want to go back a little bit, hearing your relationship with your mother growing up. You talk about your struggles with your relationship growing up with your father in the book. Can you talk about what do you think was preventing you guys from being close?
I think it was my age, like really, like because my older siblings kind of got a different side of him that I never got a chance to get because I was just so young, you know? And I think like sometimes he would open up to me and give me advice and stuff like that. But you know, it wasn't like what my older siblings were getting, you know, the information, you know, like even my sister Maisha, like she has so many stories about like her and dad spending time together and like, you know, she told me this one story about how like they were in the backyard looking at butterflies and like catching butterflies. And he told her that like, you know, if you sing to a butterfly, it'll come to you, you know, something really beautiful like that. And I'm just like, I don't have those memories with my dad. You know what I mean? Like we never bonded in that way, you know? I mean, I know he loved me. You know what I'm saying? He was definitely loving and like caring and all that, but he was a very serious man. And when I think about my dad's life, you know, he was in World War II in the Air Force. Like he saw some shit. You know what I'm saying? And like he just was just a real serious dude. I mean, so he had a silly side sometimes, but it'd be very rare. You know what I mean?
When you look back, like, how do you feel the distance that you had from your dad growing up impacted you before his death? Like whether it was your personality or the way that you would move at home.
It fucked me up because I would always hope getting older would bring me closer to my dad. And it got ripped away from me, that possibility. You know what I mean? And like literally I thought like, who's gonna teach me how to be a man now? You know? Like I thought that. Like at 12, 13, you know? Like who's gonna give me advice on women and like, you know, things like that, you know?
Yeah, that's interesting because it's like you're saying in your core, you know a big part of why you couldn't be as close is because of your age. Being the youngest, you're watching your older siblings have these different relationships. And in your head as a kid, all you obviously want is to be close to your parents and be loved by your parents. And so you're like, all right, my time is coming. My time is fucking coming. Once I hit that age, and then your dad passes away when you're 11. How did you even like process that grief when it all happened?
Oh, I didn't. I pretended like it didn't happen. Like it was no time to really, you know, grieve. Because it's four of us, right? And my sister took it the hardest. She was 18 at the time. And yeah, she took it the hardest. And, you know, I was that kid like, hey, I don't want to be an extra burden to anybody. Like, let me just kind of keep to myself and keep on chugging along and you know, not worry my mom. Just be cool.
That's what's so weird about family and sibling dynamics is like, I'm also the youngest, and you just have your dynamics where you know, like whether if the oldest is more introverted or extrovert or whatever, then the next one applies to like it acts however works with the one above, and it's all this shit. So hearing you be like, my sister was the most outwardly affected and upset.
Yeah.
You obviously kept it inside and pretended like it didn't happen. Obviously that level of grief is still in you.
Oh yeah.
It just wasn't being shown and you didn't know how to process it. Like, can you try to explain how losing your father started to show up a little bit in your life after he'd passed?
Yeah. I feel like it was like a immediate thing. Like school became really less important, and I was getting in trouble, and you know, stressing my mom out more and acting out because I was just an angry teen, you know. Um, and that was pretty much my whole teens, my whole middle school, high school. I was just not a good student, didn't apply myself. Um, and I say it was like that even well into my career. Like once I got successful, I was just, at the core of me was just anger, you know?
Yeah, because it was like you said, it was stripped from me. Like
Yeah.
my future of learning all these things and these memories, like I don't have. And so then you kind of like dissociate and you just go about your life, and then it keeps seeping out. And you're saying like you were experiencing this anger. I know you write though about obviously of like how now you are who you are.
Mhm.
There was an outlet, and that happened to be writing. Talk to me about how you started to lean more towards that and put your feelings into your writing.
Man, it's like this thing where I didn't have like, well, I'm not saying I couldn't talk to my mom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure she, you know, could have said something amazing to get me out of my funk. But I still felt like I needed to have these like private, you know, writings to myself with my thoughts. And it was like important for me at the time to have some type of outlet to express myself. And uh a lot of the times I would just sit there and just write about like the pain I was feeling, or like a memory that me and my dad shared, the funeral, what it was like, what I saw. Um and that kind of like informed the Kid Cudi stuff too once I got going and writing music. Like being honest and telling my story and talking about my feelings was like key components to my earlier recordings.
I also think what you just said about your mom and you being like, I probably could have gone to her, but I really needed an outlet. Like, whether anyone is trying to get into music or not, I think that writing in general, your feelings, is at first, it can feel foreign to some people because they're like, what the fuck will I write? But when you're going to have a conversation like you're with your mom or a friend or a family member, you're just now trying to basically say something and look for something back that will make you feel better. When you're pen to paper sitting there alone, you're getting nothing back. So you're forced to just like keep going and going and opening up more and more and more. And then you're just realizing how much there is. And it's therapeutic. In times it hurts, but it feels like that early Kid Cudi stage, like you said, there was a lot of anger. And it makes sense why, though, writing could be therapeutic to you because at least you were putting it somewhere.
Yeah.
Right?
There was some release. Yeah.
You drop out of college and you decide to pursue music full time.
Yeah.
How did you decide that was the right decision, and how did your mom feel?
My mom was, I tried. I wasn't really in it. I hated the classes. Like my grades there were terrible. My only class that I got good grades in was English.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Scott.
Like English, I was on fire.
Yeah, you were.
You know what I'm saying? When it came time to write an essay, I was like, what is it about? How many pages? 10, 20? I got you. Like I was the best essay writer. Like my pen game was strong.
Of course.
But yeah, she understood it, and I was passionate about music, and she had no choice but to support me, you know? And what's she gonna do? Like leave me out there on my own in New York? You know what I mean? She had to like, honor me and let me go out and pursue my dreams.
Was there ever a point that you considered early days giving up?
No. I was crazy. I was out of my mind. There was no glimmer of hope. There was nothing in the distance that would make me feel like this was going to happen. But I knew. Like I was just like, this is, I dream it and I can see it crystal clear in my mind. Like I can see it. I can touch it. It's right there in front of me. I got to get there. And before I left Cleveland, I had this moment where I was smoking a cigarette and I sat on my Honda, right? And I looked up at the sky and I was like, God, I know that this is the right thing to do, me moving to New York. I'm going to do everything I can to get where I want to go. I just need you to meet me halfway. It's like, if I'm doing the right thing, just give me a sign. And I looked up at the clouds. Of course, I didn't see anything. But I just like left, finished my cigarette, went back in the house. And I was just like, I had armor. You know what I mean? I had like armor on my back. I was like, oh, he got me. He gonna hold me down,
And then Day and Night.
Yeah.
Absolutely changed your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me about how you wrote that song and how it came to you, because it is kind of like you looked up at the sky and maybe there wasn't a sign then, but you kind of write about it in your memoir, like it eventually happened.
Yeah. Like, so the melody just came to me one day, just fucking around. Me and my cousin Richie, my family out in Brooklyn in New York, we would always joke around and make songs, silly songs and shit like that. And I had essentially the Day and Night melody as like a silly song that we would do and sing together.
Like, what were you singing?
It was like we were singing like the Day and Night melodies, but like, it didn't have lyrics or anything. It was just like, and I was just like, right? So I had this melody like in my head for months. And I finally get in the studio with Dot and I'm like, bro, I got this joint. I really think it's fire. I think I need you to just make this beat. I'm gonna give you the melody and we're gonna put it together. And like we cooked it. It took about 2 days. And it was just magic. It was because the melody just came to me out of nowhere. The universe just downloaded this melody into my head. And like, I don't know where it came from, but it just stuck in my head. And it never happens to me. It's not like I get melodies and they stay with me for months, Like it never happens. I always forget it. Like minutes later, I'm like, fuck, what was that melody? If I don't put it in my phone, it's gone, So like for some reason, I don't know if this is before the drugs got me. No, I think this is before the drugs got me, so my mind was a little bit stronger. But stay away from cocaine. But
kids, you're watching.
Yeah.
Shit. And there it was.
Yeah.
Did you realize immediately once it was live that your life was about to change forever?
Oh yeah, I knew. Like I knew it, but I've been crazy this whole time. I've been crazy for a while now at this point. So it's like I had nothing to lose. I had shit to lose. I don't even think at that point I had a job. Like I didn't have nothing to lose. I was out there in New York. I had a place to stay. That's the one thing people are worried about, where they're gonna fucking stay. I had a place to stay. I had a collaborator I was building rapport with that we had crazy chemistry. Like I had nothing to lose. I believed in Dot like he believed in me, and it was pure magic. It was pure magic. Like how I found Dot, how we became like I worked at Abercrombie and Fitch. I met Rillawan in the stock room where we were folding clothes, freestyling together. He said, "Yo, I got a producer you should meet. It's my dude Dot. He's real fucking dope." Met up with Dot, got in the studio with him, cooked 3 records in one night, and I was like, "Oh, this dude is like he ill." And plus, Dot is like classically trained, like crazy pianist. You know what I mean? Like, um, and yeah, it was just that's something. That's the angels brought us together, man.
When you even explain that story, like I can see you physically lighting up, because obviously that time in your life was probably feels worlds away, and also like it was yesterday maybe.
Yeah.
But what does it make you feel for like young Scott working at Abercrombie? I love how like it was so random. Abercrombie, love that. Shout out Abercrombie. It all went down.
The fucking soundtrack in the store was just intense. There was this one song that they did. I used to come every time it came on. I ran out to the floor to listen to it. It was this one remix of "If You're Going to San Francisco." Like it came on, and I'll just be out there like, "Oh, hey," jamming every time. It was me and a couple other people who really liked the song too.
They're like, "Scott, back to the desk.
Yeah,
What the fuck are you doing?"
They'd be pissed coming out on the floor, and I'm not bringing out clothes. But nah, like just how that happened, you know, like me just getting, and I was so happy about getting the Abercrombie job because I was like, "Ooh, there's so many young people there.
Yeah.
I can meet people my age, make friends." I didn't really have any friends at this time. You know what I mean?
That was something that I thought was really interesting. You wrote about how this happens, but then you're still going to that job. And I remember one of the lines you write, you're like, "I'm standing there. People are like, 'Oh my God, Cudi, like your music is fucking awesome. I'll take a size medium.'"
Yeah.
And you were like, "I need to get the fuck out of here."
Yeah.
Like, how did it feel when you started having your first fan interactions? Like, were you cool with it? Was it starting to feel a little uncomfortable immediately?
Yeah, it was uncomfortable immediately.
Why do you think that
Instantly.
is?
Because I don't think in my mind I was ready for that energy. Like I was not prepared, and I don't think there's anything that anyone could have told me to prepare me. But I was not prepared for it. I wasn't at the time built for it. And it threw me off. It because you spend what 24 years of your life just being a dude, you know, and then all of a sudden you are the fucking man, and then you know you can tell when you meet people and they have interest in you only because of who you are, and they don't know who you are, and you can see. Just looking in their face, looking in their eyes, you can tell when someone's being genuine, and they're always not. You know, it's always someone putting on a fucking role. You know what I mean? And it was very yeah, it fucked me up, man. And that's what drove me to using hardcore drugs like cocaine. You know, I really just needed something to calm my nerves when I went out, or, you know, just do certain things that like even just really was leaving the house. Cause if I didn't do cocaine, I'd be in the house all day long. But like if I did coke, then I was like, oh shit, now it's time to hit the streets, and had energy. And it was, if I met fans, it'd be different because I'm just on the shit. So I'm just like, "Hey, what's up, man? What's up?" I want to talk to everybody, you know?
I want to get to that, but I just had a thought when you were saying, you know, you weren't prepared for this. And I agree. Like, I don't know if anyone is, but I want your opinion on, like, in your personal life, I know I wrote down you had written, becoming Kid Cudi was supposed to overhaul the entire world Scott had known. And
Yeah.
then you get to fame and you're like, what the fuck is this shit? You
Yeah.
mentioned the relationships in your life, you starting to have to be like, are you here for the right reasons? Are you here for the Can you recall like any specific moment in your life where you remember being like, oh fuck, like I'm completely, whether it's being used or this is a fake relationship that I just didn't see and they're in it because I'm famous?
Um, there were definitely moments with like women, you know, uh, you know, trying to navigate, just being single in New York and successful is, man, it's hard, and it's it was fucking like hard, and a lot of people that I was kicking it with, um, I usually party with. We just get fucked up, you know. Um, so it wasn't like anything good. It was all just rock and roll and madness, and it's just started to eat away at me. Like after a while, I just it's like this is not serving me. It's not making me happy, you know.
You wrote about a few of your relationships in the book, one of them being Cassie. Obviously, that is always going to be a big conversation
Right.
online. And you were with her, obviously, during a very dark time of what she was going through with Diddy. During that time, your house was broken into, your car was lit on fire. What do you just like overall remember about that time and that relationship in your life? I can't believe I finally get to say this. Call Her Daddy is brought to you by Stouffer's. You don't even understand. Daddy gang, let me set the scene for you, okay? It is 6 o'clock. You get home after a long, stressful day of work and you feel like you can't make one more decision, right? You're burnt out, you're tired, but you realize you're starving. It is dinner time, but even just thinking about what to make feels so overwhelming, okay? The fridge is empty, obviously. The idea of cooking sounds miserable and all you want is something easy, delicious, and satisfying. That is where Stouffer's comes in hot, literally. When the clock strikes dinner, think Stouffer's, because that is literally what I did my entire childhood, okay? Dinner dread is real, and as someone who hates to cook, figure out what to make or even just to like order. I don't need that stress in my life. I really don't. I cannot tell you how many times I've been so grateful to come home. I open the freezer, boom, Stouffer's, boom, which one do I want, okay? Whether it's a slow night or a night in with Matt, Stouffer's has been my favorite tasty meal since day one. Shout out to my mother. She and I would eat the mac and cheese. That was like a weekly staple. Their lasagna is actually incredible. Oh my God, the Swedish meatballs, my favorite. Oh my God, the turkey and mashed potatoes with the gravy. Oh my God, the turkey tetrazzini, you guys. Stouffer's delivers big on flavor with great ingredients in every single frozen meal. For nearly 100 years, it has been the dependable choice for bringing friends and family together so we all can spend less time cooking and more time enjoying the moment. So skip the chaos, cancel the internal dinner debate, and solve dinner dread with Stouffer's. Shop now at your nearest retailer today. Stouffer's, I love you. You wrote about a few of your relationships in the book, one of them being Cassie. Obviously, that is always going to be a big conversation online. And you were with her, obviously, during a very dark time of what she was going through with Diddy. During that time, your house was broken into, your car was lit on fire. What do you just like overall remember about that time and that relationship in your life?
Yeah. It was crazy, man. Like, you know, man, in the moment, it was just crazy. Like, I have I had a hard time understanding if it was reality. Like I was like, am I in a movie? What the fuck is going on? And like it's so great. You read the book, right?
Yes.
I want you to listen to the memoir. I scored the memoir. I was just in the studio last night. I finished it up, right? So like I score um a lot of the different bits in the book, and in this moment I scored a lot of different beats and it brings it to life. Um but it was just chaotic and intense. Um and you know, I I I wasn't like I was already out of my mind dealing with my own personal shit. So um I was really just like, fuck it, you know? Like I just was willing to walk into the fire and so it's just it was just in my I always thought about it before all this stuff happened and it came out again. I just over the years I just thought about it as like just some wild shit that happened in my rock and roll life. You know what I'm saying? Like I just you know, it was just some crazy shit that happened, you know?
You testified in court.
Yeah.
How did you feel going into that situation?
Oh man. I felt I was calm, you know? I I was just I was there because I had to be. Like I first they asked, I said no. They asked again, I said no. Then I got subpoenaed. And I was like, fuck. Shit. No. Then I'm thinking about like, what do I wear, man? Do I have to be like fucking suit or something? I was like, man, fuck this shit. This is what I'm wearing today. I'm going to the fucking shit in this. I'm not dressing up for this shit. Like wearing some hard bottoms to shit. I'm wearing some fucking Solomons and I'm coming in there with my Levi's and my leather jacket and that's it, you know? But I hated every minute of it. Like I did not want to do it. But then I thought about, when I was up there, you know, I'm 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 here to support Cassie. And, you know, Cassie is my friend, and I love her and I want to see her do well. When I saw her get married, I was so happy for her, that she found someone, her person. When I saw that she was having kids, I was like, oh, this is so awesome. You know what I mean? Like, I've always just wanted to see her, thrive and do well and be happy, because I know she was living a nightmare. And I just was there to support her. That's what kind of gave me peace with it when I sat down in that chair. It was just about, damn, I don't want to do this, to being like, oh man, I gotta like hold homegirl down and like, you know, look out for her.
No, that's beautiful. Looking back, obviously not at everything that went down in court, when you actually were like living all of this as we described, where you were like, it felt literally like otherworldly. I'm like, is this my life right now? How did that experience affect the way that you felt about people in this industry and just like what you had gotten yourself into in your career?
Oh man, I was already standoffish from the industry, so it just made me even more
Freaked out.
yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
man, this shit is crazy, you know. So I was already kind of sheltered in my own little space with
Yeah.
my small group of friends, but this is like, and that's kind of like the thing about LA. It's like if you see me somewhere, it's like they're seeing like a monk that they haven't seen in like 100 years. And oh, Cudi here? He don't be nowhere. Like, you don't see me. I'm not out in these streets.
You just don't go out?
I don't go out.
You don't leave your house?
Like, I don't now, and I didn't in my 30s, really.
Okay, so you just were like keeping to yourself for a while.
Yeah.
That's what I want to go to. I know you wrote in the book and you mentioned a couple times, but let's get more into it. You say that grappling with fame essentially is what kind of pushed you towards drugs.
Yeah.
What do you remember feeling the first time that you tried cocaine?
100% happiness. It was like, the feeling I got was nothing I had ever felt before. It was fucking magical. But I will say this. That's the only time it felt like that. All the other times after, I was just chasing that first high. And it was never getting there. It never felt like that first time ever again. Like,
it's good to clarify.
Yeah. So I just wanted to, I know kids might be watching this podcast, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be like saying like.
No. I think it's part of your story. And I know we're getting to like, obviously that was a huge part of, we'll get to rehab and recovery, but still like there was a part of your life where you were at a place where you were relying on drugs, and that's your story. And but you're also here today to tell the story. And I think there's a lot of people that don't have the courage to even say these type of things out loud and like own that. And I think this another reason why, again, you are so successful is because you're connecting with people on real shit. Like there's probably also a lot of fucking people listening and watching today that have an addiction. So hearing you acknowledge that, like, I think thank you, honestly. So you talk about how you only would do coke alone.
Yeah.
Why was that?
I think it was just supposed to be my little secret. Like, I didn't want it to be like a known thing that like I did coke around the industry. That would have spread fast, you know? So I just like kind of kept it to myself. That doesn't mean like people couldn't tell I was on it. You know what I mean? Like people could probably figure it out, you know?
You write about how your album, Speeding Bullet to Heaven, it was written essentially during one of the darkest times of your life.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me about where you were at mentally while writing that album?
Oh, I wanted to die for sure. Yeah. I didn't want to, I was like, fuck it. I'm just gonna play the guitar and shred, and I don't give a fuck if people like it or not. This is how I feel. I just feel angry as fuck. And I just wanted an excuse to like scream on records, you know, and express that anger.
You said essentially that you wanted that album to be your goodbye.
Yeah.
Like you were planning on taking your life, and you either wanted to do it during or after it released, or you weren't sure, but like that was going to be your goodbye.
Yeah.
Did anyone close to you in your life know that you were struggling that bad?
I don't think so. I kept it because when I was around my friends, I was happy to not be alone. So I was like back to, you know what I mean? I could keep it to myself, you know? I never wanted to worry my friends. There's some people that deal with these things and they like to like put it on other people and shit. I never wanted that to be. I don't want people to be, oh man, Scott calling me again. He's, you know what I mean? Like I was like, look, I'm gonna just deal with my shit by myself. Like I'll be cool. I can maintain. I got a daughter. I want to be here for her. You know what I mean? Like just all the thoughts that I need to think to keep me from going down that dark path.
What was your rock bottom moment?
Man, I think it was during that time. 2016 was bad too. That's when I finally went to rehab. Because I relapsed and started using again. I would say from 2015 to 2016, it was like the decline, getting just darker and darker and darker. And suicide was on my mind like all the time. Like I would like daydream about the shit, you know? And I just, when I relapsed and I was like, kind of faced with this reality, like, damn, like it's been 6 years since I've used this shit. And I thought I was past that. And I'm obviously not. Like, that was fucking me up, you know? It was just kind of like, man, I don't want to go in circles. Like, I'm supposed to like be off this shit. I'm getting older. Like, I'm in my 30s. Like, people don't want to keep seeing you be a fuck up. You got to get your life together, bro. You're not in your 20s no more. You're not just out here. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like this reality check I needed, and I went and got help. You know, I'm glad I did at that time, because, you know, something would have happened for sure. You know what I mean? And ever since then, like, I haven't been like, yeah, I'll get down about some things, but then I get over it. Like, before, shit would hit me for like weeks. Something bad happens, I'm like in the house for weeks, just like miserable. But, you know, ever since 2016, I've been like 1,000 times better. Like, it's so funny because like Lola, we were hanging out one time. It was like maybe 2 years ago. And she, we were talking about 2010 for me and what I was going through and all this shit. And I told her I got arrested, you know, and they found drugs on me. And she was like, what? And I was like, all right, let me find the article and let you read this shit. So she's reading it, and she starts laughing. She's like, I don't know who this person is. She's like, all I know is the sweet Scott that I've known for like years now. Like, I don't know this is so funny to me. Like, I'm not even concerned, because I know you're past this point in your life. I know that enough to know that, you know? And like, she just looks at it like it's a silly thing, you know? And then it made me kind of, in that moment, I found peace with it, because I always was kind of, you know, bummed out about that. You know, I thought that, you know, it was like a dent in my armor a little bit. But that made me feel okay about it. I was like, damn, my girl's not even like judging me. She's like laughing, like, what the fuck? Like, this is fucking crazy. Like, you know?
That's really interesting, though, to like think about that you had, understandably, you lived it. That was you. Yeah. I mean, reading in the book, and everyone please go read it, but there's like that really hard moment where you were like, I literally took so much coke that I'm like laying on the floor. Mm-hmm. And then like I wake up and I'm like, it's a complete different day. And you were like, I'm on my back, and I'm like, I think this is it. Like, I think, and thinking about that version, thinking about that article version, all of this. And then your wife now is like, you're not that person though anymore. Yeah. Sometimes it does take someone to pull you out of, because we've lived it and it's still a part of you, but it's not you anymore. Yeah. And that's really beautiful that she was able to just be like, I got you. I got you. Okay. That's not you anymore. Okay. Yeah. And you're like, oh shit, I guess it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
But can you talk about rehab? Because I do think it's really interesting the way that you write about this moment, specifically about how it also kind of forced you going to rehab to process a lot of the trauma, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you had not even thought about how to process your father. And now you're in rehab and you're starting to talk about your mental health for the first time. Like, can you share a little bit about what that was like for you?
Man, it was freeing for me. There was a lot of things that, I hadn't talked about ever, and it was very frustrating at first. Just having some stranger ask you really personal questions about your life. And in rehab, the therapy is like, some of the sessions can be kind of heavy, you know. Just the the approach that the therapist may take. But there's other therapists in there that are super cool. Um, but yeah, it was difficult at first, but then it got easier. The more I felt comfortable with the people, um, allowed me to open up about things that I was hurt about, from long ago as a kid that I didn't know really affected me. And it was a beautiful thing because by the time I was in there for a month, by the time I left, I was feeling a whole lot better. As you know, I had a stroke. So I was coming out of that. It was maybe like 2 weeks, and I was still, I had, uh, you know, slow speech and I was doing kind of therapy every week with this lady that kind of played these little games and like where they like show you a picture of a dog or a cat or something, and you have to like say dog, and like I would just look at the picture of a dog and be like, I can't. I couldn't fucking say it. That was scary, man. I was like, man, I don't know. I was like, dear God, I was like, please let me bounce back from this. That was super scary. But all throughout that, even though I was dealing with the the stroke stuff, you know, um, I was still very much happy. Like I was in the light, you know, and I just felt brand new. All of a sudden, I just felt brand new. It was crazy.
You mentioned you talked through a lot of things eventually as you started to feel comfortable in rehab, that you were like, okay, I had kind of been carrying this that I didn't realize I was carrying it. Like, do you have anything you could share that was something you were able to kind of let go of that you realized had been really weighing you down for so fucking long?
Yeah, I think it was really truly my anger. I was a hothead for a long time. And that was my main issue. Um and whether it was being mad at ex-girlfriends or mad at my mom about something or, just angry at life itself. Like I was able to kind of overcome that. And it was like for me, that was what was secretly like weighing me down, holding me back. Cause I'm like in my core, what I realize is that like, no, it's like, Scott, you're a good dude. There's some shitty people and you're not a shitty person, you know? So it was like I had that, you know, and I like at times you would see this good dude. Like if me and you met when I was 28, you would have not known the difference. I mean, I would have been high as a kite, but I still would have been chill and like, you know what I mean? But like you wouldn't have walked away from the conversation like worried about me. You know what I mean? But like yeah, it's all
Yeah.
it's all different.
Do you have any, from your experience, any words of advice to anyone listening who maybe is actually currently right now going through their rock bottom moment?
Man, I had a conversation with a good friend of mine, Omar, um, a month ago. And he was telling me, he was like, man, when you in your darkest moment, like, and you like wondering why God is doing this, like, think that like maybe he's like teach you a lesson. You don't might not get it yet, but there's a lesson here. He's trying to help you grow or something, understand something. Like there's a message. This is not just happening for no reason, you know? And I think that that was one of the things, learning that, like hearing him say that, because I was dealing with some stressful shit. And when he did that, I started like, oh, that's right, because I need to do this better and like get off that shit. And oh, fuck, oh, damn, okay, I get it, you know? So I feel like in life, when you're dealing with something, just always take a step back. Always take a step back and think about the bigger picture. There's a lesson here, you know? And all these lessons, all the things you learn will mold you into the human you're going to be in the future. If you're young, you know what I mean, in your teens, early 20s, like just keep this in mind. Like, you know, everything happens on purpose. You know what I mean? Like it's meant to go that way. You know what I mean? It's all part of the design, you know?
And I think when you have that perspective, like you're saying, like, fuck, this is happening for a reason, it also then inherently gives someone hope if they have that perspective.
Yeah.
Like someone in that situation right now listening to you is like, oh, there's, if he's up there and he's doing this for a reason, I'm learning and there's a lesson in this, like it gives you hope that there's like another chapter coming.
Exactly.
You got to just push through the discomfort
Yeah.
and the pain, and not saying it's fucking easy, but it gives you something to look forward to.
Yeah.
There is then a light that you can like focus on and be like, okay, I fucking got this.
Yeah.
You write about how you saw this shift in your life after learning to love yourself, which sounds maybe simple to people, but I think there's a lot of people who don't, and it's actually a lot harder than it is to like yourself, and then to love yourself is another fucking step.
Yeah.
What did self-acceptance change for you?
Call Her Daddy is brought to you by Tinder. Daddy Gang. I know meeting someone on a first date can obviously sometimes be extremely intimidating, but going on first dates just got way more fun, okay? Because now you do not have to do it alone. Tinder's new double date feature lets you and your bestie team up, match together, and find a pair that fits both your vibes. Just tap the double date icon in the app and you'll see profiles built for two. When two pairs match, the whole crew connects and the group chat begins. Double date is a new way to keep the chat fun and is a low pressure way to meet people. I personally am obsessed with this new feature for my friends. Honestly, I'm sad that it wasn't around when I was dating, okay? But you and your best friend can scope profiles together, be a little creep, go around, creep around, look up what they're up to, and then you can have group chats with these potential dates and keep the energy high when you're out together. Like that is a dream. If I could have brought Lauren with me when we were seeing, like sussing out men, boom. And a potentially anxiety-inducing first date, I think now has been able to turn it into a fun night out with your bestie and some potential new connections, okay? So whether your date turns into something serious or it's just like a fun story for you to write into Call Her Daddy about, Double Date is the perfect way to explore new possibilities while also keeping things familiar. So try all the new Tinder Double Date because everything's better with friends. Explore all the possibilities. Tinder, it starts with a swipe. Download Tinder today.
What did self-acceptance change for you?
Oh man, I think I was able to be nicer to myself. Like that was one thing. It was just like, Scott, you're doing all right. Like look at what you've accomplished. Even when you was dealing with shit, like when you were your most depressed, you still made art. You know what I mean? And it's helping people. You know what I mean? Like you're okay. Like you're all good. And this is before Lola. I was thinking this way. So I was alone, didn't really have nothing going on. I was on and off again with this one girl, but I knew that shit wasn't gonna work out. And, but it was different. I was in love with myself for the first time in my life, you know?
Let's talk about your wife.
Yeah.
You need to tell me the story of how you guys met.
Okay, so I walked in Virgil Abloh's first Louis Vuitton show in Paris. And we met while I was doing a fitting. And she took pictures of me for the board. And, I'm just sitting there and I'm just looking at this. I'm standing there and I'm looking at this girl. And I'm like, yo, who is this little cutie? Like with these glasses. Like she's so cute. And she takes my picture. She's like, okay, thank you. Look back at her. I'm like, okay, about her business. I like that. Not tripping on me. Cool, cool. Man, if I see her again, I'm gonna ask for her number. You know what I mean? And literally right after the show, all I could think about was meeting the girl with the glasses. Like I was just running around. Like that was like the only thing on my mind. And I saw her. She was like standing right there talking to one of her homegirls. And I went up. I didn't even introduce myself. I didn't even ask her name. I just was like, because I had to leave. I had to get changed and shit. And I don't know if I changed or if I was still in the outfit from the show. But I was rushing to get to my crew so we could leave. And I just came up on her and I was like, hey, excuse me, can I ask you a question? She's like, yeah. I was like, do you have a boyfriend?
Scott.
I just would cut straight to the chase because I don't want to waste my time, man. I was like, I don't want to get my hopes up, like being thirsty about this girl. She got a man, you know what I mean? So I just wanted to get straight to the point. She said no. I was like, oh, in my head, I was like, perfect. And I was just like, can I have your number? And she was like, yeah. And she gave me her number, put her name in the phone as Lola because I didn't even ask her fucking name.
Oh my God.
Such a goof. And we hung out that night at the after party. And it's so funny because I had on this Tom Ford suit, this 3-piece Tom Ford suit. And it was I was too clean. I was too clean. And she always says, she was like, you tricked me. I was like, what you mean? She was like, first time we hung out, you was in this fly ass suit. I ain't seen you in a suit since. I was like, fuck, you're right.
You're like, God damn it. She thought she was getting one thing, and now I'm in my fucking Solomons with my ripped jeans. God damn it. I'm sorry. I love you, babe.
I know.
So real.
I told her I'm gonna get back to the suits though. I'm trying to get there. I got this thing with YSL going, so like, I'm trying to get back to my suits.
Yeah, you're coming back. You're coming back.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. So did you guys hit it off immediately though, or was it a slow burn? Like, did you guys start dating?
No. We were friends for a couple years, few years. Yeah, and she always told me, she was like, when we first started talking, me and my friends were just like, what does he want from you?
Wait, I'm obsessed. That's so girls being like, what the fuck does he want? Like, what's his agenda?
She said I would text and be like, and she would be like, Cudi just text me, and it was like, what does he want? Like, what the fuck? And like, people would not understand it, and like, I was like, babe, like, let me tell you something. I really liked you, like, I was like vibing with you, like, I fucked with you, your energy, you know what I mean, and I'm real, you know what I'm saying, and like. So that's one of the reasons why I would hit her up because I wanted her to let her know like, hey, like I want to keep in touch. Like I fuck with you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and she would always respond back and we would talk and it was just like really organic. So by the time we ended up dating, it was easy because we already knew each other and it was just we were hanging out more days at a time now. Before it was like 2 days here when I was in town or shit like that. But now we like are really kicking it. We're in Tokyo, spending New Year's, or like hanging out for 2 weeks and it was great. It kind of built build really easy. And that's kind of one of the things that I loved about it, because I don't think, you know, I've connected with someone so easy before, and like in this way, And, it wasn't until she made a few trips to LA where I was kind of like just seeing it, like the full picture. She's in my house, like I see it all, right? And then I just asked her, I was like, hey, would you ever think about moving to LA? And she was like, yeah, I could do that. And I was like, shut the fuck up. I was like, are you serious? And she was like, yeah, I would do that. Why not? And I was like, oh, it's on now. As soon as she said that, I was like making plans to get the ring. I was doing all the things. Like, I was like, yeah, I was like on it. I was on it.
Wait, how did you propose?
So we took a trip to Kyoto because
Okay.
she loves it there. I've never been. And she hadn't been there in a while. So I was like, oh, let's go to Kyoto. And I planned this thing where we went to go on this tour of temples. And one of the temples I had shut down where there was nobody there. And like,
oh my God, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
And like, it's funny because I've talked to her about this afterwards. Like, if she knew that I was gonna propose, or like, did she see things that were weird? And she was like, well, there was one thing. There were two things. First, your security follows us everywhere. And they stopped and they didn't follow us in. And I thought that was weird. And then she said, like,
you're like, fucking damn it.
And then she said that, like, because I had two like lanterns up with our names in English and in Japanese underneath, right? So one said Scott, one said Lola, right? And she was like, what the fuck? Like, why does he have our names up on the fucking, what is he doing? Right? So she was like, kind of like, she did not know the proposal was coming, but she was kind of thrown off, like thinking it was weird that I had these things planned.
You're like, Lola, it's part of the plan, sweetie. Shut up for a second. Let me get there.
It was so funny, man, because, the proposal went great and everything was magical, but I didn't like, I had my photographer and my videographer fly out there to capture the footage, but they were like, didn't know when to come out. We didn't plan it. And like, they fucking came out. They were taking pictures, but I was like behind a big bush. Oh. So all you see is like my knee bent down. You don't see the proposal at all. And like, so we came out and they came out afterwards like, hey. And then it was kind of cool because I felt like if they came out before I proposed, Lola would have been like, why are there cameras here? Why is like, Brett here?
Brett, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, and then you're like, oh, you're proposing. Right. It almost worked out better.
So it worked out better. And then, so the pictures we have are just us kind of standing on, because we were in like this garden, this really beautiful garden, and in this temple. And so we got pictures just like hugging and stuff.
I'm obsessed that he took a picture and you can see your fucking kneecap. You're like, thanks, Brett. You're fucking fired. Yeah, dude.
I was like, oh man. I was like, come on, bro.
Okay, but your wedding photos?
They came out dope, right?
So fucking good.
So
fun. You were in a suit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lola, see, he's making a comeback.
Yeah, Lola, I've tried for the wedding. I was thinking about pajamas, but I did the suit. I didn't want to embarrass you.
Bare minimum, put on a suit for your fucking wedding. What was your favorite moment, if you had to say? I know there's probably so many.
My favorite moment was seeing her walking down. Like, that fucked me up. Like, I was crying before she even got to the little altar part. I was like, fuck, this is my wife. I was so geeked. I was like, man, and just seeing her walk, and she looked so beautiful. That's the first time you see the dress, and like, she kept saying like, I hope you like it, and like, Lola has amazing taste, man. So I was never I was never worried. And the person who made her dress, Alan Paul, he's a genius, an amazing designer. So you know, I trusted them. I knew I was gonna love it, but seeing it was just it was beautiful. It was oh man, it was such a fucking moment, and we filmed everything. So we're waiting to see like the footage from because the dude is editing it up and shit. But I can't wait to see just that moment again because my face, like I literally went like I couldn't do it. I was like,
You're gonna bawl when you watch it
oh,
again.
I already know.
Like you're gonna be so.
I'm prepared. I'm prepared. I was trying to keep it together, but then it was just like, man, oh shit, man. You know, it just happened. I was trying to hold back, but then because I know she was gonna cry, and I didn't want us to both be up there like hysterical. So
no, Scott, the worst would be if you're like stone cold face,
Stoic,
like, sup, come on down.
Hurry up.
Yeah, let's go.
Hurry up.
I mean, you see the fucking movies when everyone like turns to look at like what the guy's face is. And like, I literally said to my husband, I was like, if you don't fucking cry, then I don't want to marry you. What the fuck? And thank God he was sobbing too. Like, I would be a little scared if it was just like,
yeah, somebody's just like,
fuck is that?
Hurry up.
Okay, wait, did you guys write your own vows?
Yeah. And we literally pinned the paper, wrote them down, and I told her to forgive me because my handwriting is just all over the place. But I was like really like being patient with every letter and like, you know, to make sure she could read it, you know. But yeah, it was great. It was great. And we saved them too. So we're gonna frame them. And,
oh, it's amazing. How has Lola ultimately made you a better man?
Oh man. I thought I was happy before, but she just put a little extra sauce on it. You know, I feel totally complete and at peace, you know, because before her, there was something missing. You know, it was always something missing. I was happy, right? We talked about that journey from rehab and whatever. So I was happy, but I always felt that something was missing. And I've always been like, it's always been my dream to like be married and have more kids and like build a little posse of children and like, you know, and to have someone that, you know, wants that and respects you and, you know, uplifts you in your darkest moments when you're not feeling confident about work or whatever it may be, like that's there for you and is a real best friend, you know?
It's beautiful because I was going to say, I feel like, you know, throughout your life, you've been on this pursuit of happiness, no pun intended. And you think you found it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
We have to talk about your album, Free. Yeah. What is the inspiration behind it?
Man, I think it's really just kind of like bringing people into like, you know, where I am now, this place and time, the joy I feel, but also talking about, you know, reflecting on past struggles and how I overcame them, you know, and you get kind of both sides of the album with these first two singles. You get kind of the love song with Neverland, and you get this kind of like anthem to overcoming your shit in Grave, you know? And that's kind of like the two, it kind of bounces in between those two vibes on the album, yeah.
What is your wife's favorite song?
Brave. Yeah, it was her idea to drop it as a second single. I mean, this whole album is like, Lola was the main inspiration behind this album. You know what I mean? Like the first round of songs were all love songs. You know what I mean? Like different love songs to her.
I mean, I'm gonna just sob listening to this album the whole time. Like,
it's what? Definitely it's cute because it's like it's these true feelings that I have for this woman, like, and I'm singing them to her, you know. And even at the wedding, I performed Neverland and Grave, and I was singing it to her, and she was just watching me and just like so happy and like it's great, man. Like I'm you know, having her throughout this whole process was great, you know. And she would come to the studio too.
You need to tell me
What
is your favorite song on the album, and it can't be the two that have been.
No. My favorite song on the album, I got two. Can I say two?
You can say two.
There's this song called Opiate that I really love. And then Saltwater, which is the final song on the album. And there's more, but I just want to say Opiate for sure because it's so fucking groovy and like, yeah, people are gonna love it.
I'm really excited.
Yeah. It's a lot of bops on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because it's pop, right?
Yeah,
yeah, which is exciting for you, right? It's like a little different.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that people will notice. It's like it is different. It's a whole new thing, but it still feels like Cudi. Yeah.
I'm so happy I got to know you today. You never know what you're like. I'm sure you didn't know what you were going to expect sitting down with me, right? You walked in, you literally looked at me, you're like, I don't know, I'm nervous. I was like, there's no reason. But like, how do you feel? Like, I think we had a great conversation. I thought that was lovely.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I feel great.
Again, like I said earlier, getting to know an artist, we know so much about you through your music, but to hear you talk more in depth about your life story and what's made you you and what's made you Scott. Kid Cudi is fucking awesome, but the layers that you've allowed us all to see, I think has only made me personally a bigger fan because I've been a fan for a while, but now knowing even more about you, I'm like, fuck, you've been through so much.
Yeah.
And I know everything you put into your music now, it's just that much more relatable. It has that much more soul and passion. And I'm really excited for you in this next chapter of your life because you're fucking crushing. And thank you for coming on Call Her Daddy. It was truly a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.
We did it.
And I got to come back.
Dude, and I didn't ask you any inappropriate sex questions. Did anyone prep you for that? You were fine.
I was a little nervous about that. I was a little nervous. I know you get a little saucy with it.
Done. Let's fucking leave.